morning, everyone. It is Black Spring with Autumn on your Wednesday. It is, and I just want to come in and I just want to say, I just want to open this up with what. There's three figures that I've heard from recently. Okay, this is a Black Spring Mobile, by the way. Now, in the past week and a half, I've seen three individuals coming out. Okay, one who, let's see, Barack Obama is one. I've seen some grueling bully pulpit kind of style coming out of Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago. And then to top it all off, Bill Clinton has been trotted out. So, not to say that there's a correlation between Brandon Johnson, but my question is, what do these three men have in common? Well, I'll tell you what they have in common. Most of them have some type of cheering squad or chorus in the background. Amen, brother, hallelujah, better listen, I'm talking to ya. That's what these three men have in common, okay? So, Obama, I guess he still thinks he has the juice. So they tried, he some of his points that I remember him mentioning was, oh, you black men, giving a tongue thrashing to the black men. You black men think that being a bully that's actually manhood, or just generally, and I'm paraphrasing, but we need somebody out there that's going to look up, that our daughters that can look up to, and people who can't speak up for themselves. Well, apparently he thinks no one can. They don't even want. They forget about speaking. How about thinking for themselves? How about thinking for yourself? Forget about if a person can speak for themselves. If they can't think, the thought is the stem that comes first before you start speaking. So if people can't think for themselves, I think it's very unlikely that they're going to be able to speak and create an argument, a well-balanced or informed position, come to an informed position, or take an informed stance on anything that's going on. So yeah, I'm just thinking, this Kamala Harris doesn't respect life. She doesn't respect. She doesn't even respect young people, children. I mean, her own. It's almost like this lady is a stand-up. Kamala Harris, to me, is more of a stand-up comedian than she is a politician. She's no stateswoman by any stretch. She's always trying to create a punchline. Now, I don't know, I think she's very fearful herself. Maybe she was intemperate in her youth, but honey, she's been intemperate in some other places too. But what I find interesting is that you've got Obama up there as if, oh, I'm the holy, you got to take my advice or else. I don't see the same. I mean, the arrogance and hubris of these people, the arrogance of someone getting up there and saying, hey, you didn't come up with the same energy and the same mobilization that you had around me. I'm like, well, okay, well, maybe some people have wisened up. Maybe they have. And the fact that they think that they're entitled to your vote if you're playing the game. They think that they're entitled to your vote. They realize they don't have to do anything. They just have to keep these narratives up about white flight, and you know, they do everything to keep you awake, to keep your attention off of the real issues. Because shout out to Chad O. Jackson, he talked about this syndrome, and this happens with most black people. Unfortunately, when this time of the year, many of them are going to take on that imposter syndrome. And by the imposter syndrome, I'm trying to paraphrase, this was his concept, and I agree. I just didn't call it imposter syndrome. Everybody becomes the victim around this time, whether they're living comfortably in the middle class, whether they don't want to live next to a bunch of people who have no regards for rules or respect, or don't want chaos and don't want everything undermined by chaos. You know, I'm losing my train of thought here. But what I'm saying is, he thinks that he should be able to tell you, hey, we're supposed to have your vote. You know, you're making up excuses. No, people can see. People can see. You know, nobody's blind. Nobody's that blind. Okay? The dog and pony shows are over. Her running to these hack radio stations, the Breakfast Club, with Miney Charlemagne and all these, you know, little puppets. You know, that's not going to work. One minute she's laughing and cackling about weed and how she smoked it herself, but not too long ago she was running around trying to relate to people, telling them that, oh, she went to college with this one, and Obama, oh, by the way, he cited that as well. Oh, she went to college with you. All of a sudden, these people have all this folksy language. This is textbook politics, textbook rhetoric, textbook plain spoke speaking, textbook, you name it, propaganda, textbook testimonial. You know, they're pulling out all the stops, pulling out all the has-beens, the washed-ups, and then they're even touting the great John McCain. These people, if you haven't figured out by now that these people cannot be really, they cannot, this is the WWF/E. These people are in on this together. There's no way that John McCain was, when it wasn't expedient for them to support John McCain, I forgot who he was. Who was he running against not too long ago? Probably was Trump. But what I'm saying is, these people are all in bed together. They are. I mean, just think about it. Just think about all the hurricanes. Now, I remember back during Katrina, where some people had there was this theory out there, and I don't know if it's based on HAARP or whatever the Department of Defense has. I remember there were rumors, or I thought it was bizarre, that people were saying that George W. Bush, the son George W. Bush, they said he actually aimed that particular hurricane at New Orleans. And I used to think, my gosh, what a vivid imagination. But there again, some of that same Asheville, which that was 5 year ago, 10 years ago, that was a hot spot. You've had a lot of people to move from other parts of the country to move to Asheville. Okay? Turns out many of those people, like, allegedly, at that altitude, they didn't have flood insurance. Okay? So, I don't know. I just figured, they could have done something. They took their time to do anything about it. Of course, there's theories out here about resources, because, see, to me, most people that have served in the military, they have witnessed firsthand of how the U.S. has gone into areas in which they have these resources, these natural resources, and they go in and they basically, obliterate the place, get the resources, obliterate the place, and then they're rebuilding. Because we all know, first about anything to function, whether it's infrastructure, you have to, like when you talk about the Suez Canal, we talked about that little political stunt and brief stunt with the strike of the ILA. You know, you had to have infrastructure for, dare I say, the French to build the Suez Canal. You had to have infrastructure in order to build the Panama Canal. It didn't just, a lot had to be obtained. I believe Panama wanted independence. That independence had to be recognized from Colombia in order for them to do what they did with that land, and to create those waterways, to get those waterways, or to get that navigation where they could bring in goods, rather than going around South America to get, you know, from place to place. Because we do have two oceans, and we have the Gulf of Mexico. But what I'm saying is, some of this stuff is just looking a little bit, usually when there's repetition, there's a pattern, you've got all these themes, it's definitely contributing to something, okay? It actually is. So I'm just saying, but I've digressed here. I've gone away from these three. But I'm telling you, these identity politics, it's only going to work for these baby boomers. They are stuck on their civil rights movement. They're stuck on all of that. You know, they're stuck on all of that. And unfortunately, rather than some people make decisions based on what the Creator, according to the Bible or whatever, they make decisions based on white people do this. And listen, I've heard it all before. You're not gonna do the right thing based on either your own morals or either some type of values that you've learned, some type of biblical values. You're gonna do it because you're trying to figure out, white people have gotten away with this, so I'm gonna do this. And that's a very sad reality. It's a very sad reality. I don't run my life like that, and I don't run my logos is not of that. I think you need to be a living example as much as you can. You have to put all that, that to me, that's another example. And I'm not here to minister to anyone, but I'm just thinking that this is, that this is a situation in where, we have to lean on, we have to realize where judgment is, and we have to not lean to our own understanding. But I'm just saying, in this political season, all kinds of craziness is going to come out. And here again, it's always a close race. That's another template that they're already painting for these people. They're saying it's going to be close. So close that, what do you think? Well, let's see. You won't get your results for weeks, days, thoughts at a time. And then when it comes up, it'll be something similar to what happened the last time. I mean, you can't trust what they're saying. You cannot trust. Because some people want to say one thing on the surface. They'll tell you, I'm going to vote for so-and-so. But dang on well, when they get in that booth, or whatever it is that they use, they're going to do what they've been inclined to do. And I do believe that the black in quote, community is trauma bonded to these kingship white liberals. And then the rest of them are these boulets. The boulets, including, I'm telling you, these entertainers are twined together with the boulets. And these politicians are twined with Hollywood. So you've got these gatekeepers everywhere. At every institution, that's where they are. Every institution in which they have an influence to shape society, they are in place. No, you didn't get a revolution from the civil rights. No, you didn't get a revolution from the Black Party Panther and all this stuff. What you got was a whole bunch of infiltration into all of the institutions, including the colleges, the Holy Grail. They want to know why, this is happening. It's because you've destabilized.
In 2 miles,
Yes, you have, courtesy of your government. They've destabilized everything. They create these problems, they pull things out, put things back in, push, pull, push back in. And before you know it, there's a consequence. And they are in 1.5 months. So dumbed down right now. They are literally, it's worse than you can imagine. Okay? They really that. Because I'm telling you, two things is not going to change. Your skin color is not going to change. And I'll be damned if anybody's going to reduce me to a color. No, you can't reduce my belief. You can't reduce my creator to a color. You cannot reduce me to any of that. This Marxist BS is completely another factor or tactic in trauma bonding. Oh, well, you better listen to these people because in 2 miles. And I helped you this and I helped you that. Right now, these kids, I know that kids have more resources than we ever had. But it's whether there's, well, there's 80% poverty. They don't have anybody helping with their homework. And I'm like, well, hey, but you don't want to talk about the functional illiterates. They did, their parents did. In 1.5 months. They don't want to talk about it. But it's real. So I'm just, I'm on a little bit of a soapbox. Good morning. McCain versus Romney. Yeah, there you go. Gary Gates says, we used to call it rub it in your face. It's when the bully knows he can get away with anything. He says the same thing happened. What happened this time? Nothing has changed with these machines, except they have more of the same. Gage also comes in with the stirring 2020. The Senate vote was held hostage by the Dems, and they in a half mile. By their own army, Antifa, that if Trump won, their cities would be burned. Well, I can't see much difference. I don't. There's nothing that's changed. Every year is this is the most influential. Use the right lane. This is the most consequential election of our lifetime. This is the most consequential election of our lifetime. In a quarter mile. And then they go from that to, it's going to be a close election. And they've already got. Take the exit toward. Rhetoric out there that is potential that there's some top Democrats that aren't going to accept a TRUMP. They're not going to concede to a victory. I mean, come on, folks. The writing's on the wall. Come on. It's exhausting. Like I said, I cannot wait. It's like a sale or a holiday. I cannot wait until they put the stupid decorations up. They stop running all the stupid ads. They stop. Because head north toward psychological, it's a game. Make a U-turn. I mean, and a lot of people here again, they want to be. Continue on Cobb's. I agree with Chad Jackson. This was his concept about Cobb Hill Place. They'll with the voting and all, but they only want to do it. Some people want to be able to dominate their little boardroom conversations. They want to try to shut down somebody in a boardroom when it comes to race or when it comes to elections. That's why they become this they take on this imposter syndrome for power or for, just so they can be heard. Do they mean what the hell they say? Do they know they're going to go back to live their comfortable little lives? And see, this is the other thing I can't stand about black people. Black people that are in that middle class that I'm describing, as soon as they were able to either become more educated or get that promotion, guess where they went? They got the hell out of the ghetto too, with all the blighting destroyed nuclear family-centered places. They got out of the places too, surrounded by the check-into cashes and the liquor stores and just run down horrible schools. They got away from all of that too. But you just wait until November 5th. They've never accomplished nothing good has happened to them, or they've never accomplished anything. That's exactly what they're going to do. And I'm just thinking, well, my thing is we all can make a point, but we all don't. But do you need to lie? Do you need to lie? Do you need to exaggerate to make your point? We're not talking. To me, this is beyond being hyperbolic. You're just flat out lying. Or what is that called? Well, the way you're asking is, Karine Jean-Pierre said the other day. Well, the way you're asking that question is disinformation. He posed, what is it, Ducey? He posed a great question. But then she had to manipulate it. She had to manipulate what he was saying and say, oh, you're just asking me. He said, his question was, I'm paraphrasing. He says, well, Congress allegedly, if he's got money, if Biden has money to send to Lebanon right now, but yet the Congress needs to be recalled from recess in order for the Americans to get some relief that they need. She basically says, well, Congress needs to come back and do their job, and you may not want that, but that's what this president wants, and that's what he's gonna get. And the vice president that's what they want to get. And I'm just saying, no, you're the misinformation queen. You're the bumbling, rambling moron that thinks that nobody can see what you're doing. So yeah, she wanted to deflect and basically project. But the man's point was, and I saw the letter that Biden wrote. But my thing is, why is it this is a corporation? Is corporation first, and then the taxpayer last? Wake the hell up, folks. Why is it corporation last? I mean, corporation first. Forget about America first. It's corporation first, my friends. I mean, what was it? According to I love to read things about the Roman Empire because I see the same things here. They usually say that the wars abroad keep the peace at home. Well, I don't think so. So you got corporation first and the people last, because I'm sorry, you cannot even get a hotel $750. Yeah. What hotel are you going to stay in are you going to get for 2 nights, including even a parking? Hang on just one second, guys. So yeah, I mean, they're not fooling anyone that has a pulse. Yikes, what is going on here? Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's just really disingenuous, these people. I'm sorry, but if somebody offered me $750, I'd probably tell them to keep it. Oh, well, that's just a start. A start of what? For immediate needs. And then from what I've heard, people have gotten denied. But what kind of questions and verification and rock are they researching to find out where the people that are coming over from all over the country? Because to me, the whole country is a border right about now. The whole country is a border. There is not just California and Texas and there is and New York ports of entry. Where exactly? Which state is not a border state? Which one is not? Because I'm telling you, these cultures are going to clash if they haven't already. I mean, you just think about Fairhope, Alabama. That is a community, whether you want to call it a retirement community or whatever you want to call it, it's still, those people have paid into this system, and they deserve to have whatever it is that they've paid for. But people are comfortable telling them, hey, you could lose it all too. It can be lost. You can lose it all. What do you want? Choice is yours. But you know what, guys? I'm not going to keep up too much of your time, but I'm just saying, with all three of these figures, and I didn't even get to Johnson. Johnson these people are complete Marxist. They're Marxist. He's up here with his rhetoric. Well, I'm the mayor. You can't ask me any questions. Why can't I do this, and this, and yet somebody else did? I mean, to me, that's all tired. And look, he's not worried about education. He brings up, well, I'm going to make sure that kids, that they have the education that they need, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, you had those kids going at the kids' schools and the recreation centers were shut down for the elderly earlier this year. All of a sudden, you're about education and equity. They're just so full of crap. They're just so full of crap. You didn't care yesterday. You didn't care anything about whether these kids had their own schools to go to, because you were housing freaking illegals in their schools, in taxpayer supported schools. But you're all about your full-blown education now, with your little cheering squad. See, that's how I know that the black Marxist church, they were the downfall. They were the infiltration. They were the infiltration for the black community. That's why all we have is a bunch of stupid, dilapidated streets with street names that people are afraid to go down. We got stupid statues everywhere idolizing people. We've got stupid holidays in which everybody in the country enjoys. I'm telling you, dying on symbolism. You get a street name, you get a Juneteenth, you get a holiday, you get everything except for something that's sustainable, that would sustain you. No, it was never meant that way. It was never meant to sustain anybody. And now, with them bringing their new class, this new class of slaves in, basically that's what these Haitians and these people with no skills in terms of, with language barriers and lack of skills, lack of education, that's your new slave class. And the fact that black people are standing around applauding that, and basically they've used that to manipulate blacks. Oh, let's tell these darkies that eliminate that immigration is good, and these other white people and these other race of people are just racist because they don't want all their, because they won't allow us to use their tax money without griping about it. All they're doing is saying, get your butt back out there to work. You get back out there and work. That's what it's all about. Sadly enough, they always use the underdog, these illegals, these quote immigrant, which I think all this language is disingenuous by now. What does even all that mean? And shout out to another thing that Chad O. Jackson saying, because we're at a point now, he says, when you get to a point in society in which words and vocabulary don't mean anything, that is a sign of a falling civilization. And that's exactly what it is. Nothing means anything anymore. Nothing. Words don't mean anything as long as they can carry out their agenda. But whether it's a chicken plant, a hatchery, Tyson, I don't care what it is. It's another class of slavery. And the fact that black people would co-sign that these people, to me, because these people they're taking advantage of, they're using those people. They are hitching a wagon to hitching a wagon to them politically, just like LBJ did to blacks. And with all the MLKs and all these people, all these messiahs that they brought along, as if black people are just standing around waiting for some messiah to come along. No, that's not me. I'm beginning to wonder at times, were black people going along with some of these things back in that time during civil rights because they thought it was a cool thing, it was a rebellious thing to do, or did they actually believe that what was going on was going to have far-reaching, was going to be sustainable, and then it was going to build some type of prosperity or wealth in the future? I don't. I mean, I have to ask myself that, because if I ask the average black person, well, what was it like when you were here, school, da-da-da-da-da? Was it that bad? I mean, what? Hey, the horror stories you told me, Mom, the horror stories that you told me about growing up in the 60s, you told me about other black folks that were chasing you down your sidewalk. I never heard you talk about no hillbillies riding around with a Confederate flag or a rebel flag, hurling beer cans off the back of you, off the back of a truck, like they showed on that freaking Time to Kill. They don't have stories like that. The average person does not have a story like that to tell you. They don't. They don't have any testimonials. Everybody's testimonial is pivot around 2 or 3. It's getting to be, is it mythology that we're dealing with? Because when I live my life every day, I have to go with some wisdom from the good book, or I have to use, hell, I'll even use some 4th grade wisdom or some wisdom, 1st grade wisdom. I'd rather use wisdom from my nephew than this mythological stuff that you come up with, because you can't get any of the people from that time to verify anything. Or they can't verify, oh, well, this person's racist. Oh, that school was racist. Where did you get it from? Is it because somebody told you? Or you didn't go there because you implanted it in a whole bunch of people's minds that it was racist, and they didn't even give it a try. But then when you had some success, you admit, oh, it's because, I really worked hard. I really applied myself. Oh, that was the key. That was the key. Applying yourself. I'm sorry, you got to call a thing a thing. And then I do believe, and I've caught my own parent, my own mother in a lie. That's how many holes the Swiss cheese about the 50s and 60s has. And I'm like, okay, well, why did you lie about all of that? Because when you lie about something like that, that lets me know you will lie about anything just to keep it alive. Oh, we want to keep hope alive. No, you want to keep the manipulation alive. Because as long as you keep people angry and keep distorting the truth, or about what were your actual efforts versus what was out there, you put no effort in, but you're going to say, oh, it was because of them. They didn't ask us to do. What do you mean? Nobody's going to ask you to apply for a job. That would be a recommendation. So there again, you're manipulating. Oh, well, they didn't ask us. Okay, how were they supposed to ask you? It required an application. It required a paper application and some other recommendations, other people that could vouch for you. I have yet hear a family member of mine tell me, well, I went and applied and I could check all the boxes that they gave me in that particular, for that beauty pageant or for that competition, and they turned me down. No. You get the lead narrative of racism first, but you get they can't give you play-by-play. And then here's this same competition going on this day and age. It's probably so expensive that nobody can get. No, it wasn't expensive. You had to bring forth your credentials, bring forth what they asked. They asked for an application. They asked for you to write an essay. They ask for you to get a recommendation from a principal, a teacher, or somebody in your community. So you mean your effort was what was the expense? That's what it was. It wasn't racism. So you'll put that myth out there in order to get everybody on in the same place with you. It's disgusting. It's despicable. It's absolutely disgusting and despicable, the amount of manipulation and lies that I have learned about people growing up in the 50s and in the 60s, and then you have all these bombings and things that they never found anybody. I mean, Chad Jackson, to me, he's beyond Uncle Tom, the Uncle Tom series, okay? I mean, he's bringing out, I've learned there's a lot of history out there that has been buried. A lot. A lot. For all what is it, the bombings of the church, you never found the answer to, you never got anybody behind bars behind that. Think of all the bombings, these radicals, the Weatherman Underground. I'm telling you, there's a lot of history out there that's been buried, and the truth will never come out because it's more politically expedient and it's more divisively expedient, and that's what they need to keep all of this going. Let's see what else we're gonna go here. I just want to say hi to everybody in the stream. I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I've already gone longer than I intended to, but here it is. Good morning again, John Roberts, Gary Gage. I have some liners I want to share with you guys, but it probably won't be until later. It's an EPA. One is EPA, in which that's your meat cost is about to go up because the regulations they're putting on the meat companies and the processing and the water and basically the disposal of the water and processing at these plants. The EPA has that coming up for you. So see, this is exactly why all this stuff is falling right into the World Economic Forum. And then I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but let me segue this. That goes back to another comment that Bill Clinton was making about, well, America's not having enough babies so we need these immigrants to work. So there again, with this government social engineering and the destruction of the nuclear family, of course, you've disrupted the order of things. You've disrupted the values. You've disrupted the order of things. There's a reason, and you're pushing abortion like candy. That is the holy grail for that party. But yet they want to but they're going to replace you with illegals. They're going to give your Social Security, your tax money to illegals. That's the way I see this going down. I said, good morning, clowning around. Says people forgot to enforce the Bill of Rights. I really appreciate you guys so much for coming in. Let's see, Gary Gage comes in with a Republicans should start a rumor that illegals are being signed up by the thousands to Republicans. Then it will change. Then the Dems will close the border tight and start deporting. You know, like I said, I tell you what, the 2030 agenda, you know, these places, everything is becoming less and less recognizable already. Already things are less recognizable. I mean, and see, I think there was a woman down in Fairhope, Alabama. She was saying that first they lied and said that there were no illegals coming that way. And then you had in Sylacauga, you had a meeting, and guess what? This councilwoman turned it into a whole race thing. Well, honey, money is not coming out of thin air. Is she gonna have? How about they raise your taxes? Because these people are going to still need to use infrastructure. Will be. We don't have the infrastructure. We're not building a railroad. We're not building a canal. No. You're creating an industry so that these people can work for less. Culturally, I've not been to IAT, and I only know one or two, but you've got people coming into this country, and based on the amount of the extensive travel that I've done in my life, there are places that these people come from where you are told not to leave your hotel room. That if you do, you've got to make sure you take your own little entourage with you. So for them to try to make it seem like, oh, there's nothing, everybody just want, hey, you can find some bad apples here. Does that mean all the American people are ill will or ill intentioned or ruthless? No. But you're going to have crime. You're going to have other things introduced. Whether it be, spiritually, I'm not even getting onto that. You're going to have other things introduced into this society that people here aren't even prepared to deal with. They're not. I'm just saying. So, I'm a little bit on of a tangent. But yeah, all I can see are the taxes and more hidden taxes going up. People, I'm not gonna, I'm like many of Americans, I'm not making a weekly grocery store shop. I go to the store. I happen to go to the store regularly, but I'm telling you, when you think about buying this plastic food that's in the stores or whatever you're trying to find, that you get, if you get everything or wherever you get your food from, it's so expensive. It's like you're not getting that much for your money. It's, what is it, shrinkflation? You got the same product, but less of it for more money. Same product, same product, less quantity in the product, but for more money. Look at your if you whether you go to a fast food place, I'm a turkey lover, turkey perky. Okay, so there's a turkey farm in the area of my armpit town, and they have great turkey, farmed and raised, everything. It's by them. Okay, but I had a turkey sandwich a few days ago. They even actually you have an option to put actual dressing, like cornbread dressing, on your turkey sandwich. And I made a mistake thinking they were, this is just going to be like some salad dressing of some sort. No, this was actual dressing on the turkey sandwich. That turkey sandwich was by far probably one of the best turkey sandwiches I've ever had in my life. Probably one, because of the quality of the turkey. It wasn't processed. But it was pricey, and it was about the size of a little McMuffin. I was figuring I'd be able to cut that sandwich in half and eat one half now and eat a half later. But it's at a level in which you're getting so little for your money that who can afford to pay for a $10 turkey sandwich that's about the size of it's smaller than a bagel? Who? I'm just saying, it was actually quite good. It's called Bates House of Turkey. A lot of people stop in on the way to Florida. It's just great. They have everything from turkey pot pies, turkey sausage, turkey links. Of course, they'll even slice you they'll slice some turkey for you. But it's pretty pricey, but that's always been the case. The things that are best for your health, it's going to cost you the most. I have a coworker of mine says that she's just been making a lot of things. She's been using a lot of hamburger meat. It's because meat is so expensive. And to me, the ground beef in some of it doesn't even taste like ground beef. It's so rubbery and it's so chewy, like grainy. From the last time I had some beef, it was so grainy. Not good. Um, and also, you know, you don't want food that's going to cause you to swell or cause to make you inflamed. You don't want that. You don't want that in your diet. But that's what's out there. That is absolutely what's out there for you. So I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and listening to my rant. But yeah, I'm just telling you, Chicago is a complete cesspool. The trotting out of Obama, which to me, he's not, I mean, these little soft men running around pretending like they're so pro this and pro that, and saw all these soft science men. And I mean, honestly, these people, these soft, I mean, many of the arts and the humanities have really, I agree with Rousseau. I need to read more of it, read more on that essay that he wrote, because he was of the Enlightenment, but it was irony. It was more than verbal irony that he talked about how the sciences and the arts would make man more weak. And that's what political science is. It is a soft science. Let's see what's going to go here. Gary Gage says, oh, but the money is going to all of these bureaucrats for the deep state. Anarchy. Good morning, Anarchy. He says, I think I'm getting stronger nowadays because I got $100 worth of groceries and I can lift it with one arm. Yikes. I know, Anarchy. I mean, I'm just like, honestly, I mean, guess this is where the prepper kind of thing comes in. If you're going to raise your hand, class, if you're going to have a fall garden. I mean, I'd love to, but I need a greenhouse because the conditions outside have been so unbearable that my growing season was absolutely abridged. It was much shorter than last year. I don't know. It just seems like something was even killing the earth, killing my basil plant. I think my mint plant, as of right now, is about the only one that has survived. So I don't know. For those of you that are doing the fall garden, let me know. Let me know what you think, or what you think the best conditions are. I mean, I don't know. In the zone that I'm in, about like 8B, I think is the zone that I'm in. I don't know. The best thing I could probably do is maybe to start some, you know, to start some seeds, I guess. Because I think this is also there's certain things you can plant that take several months for germination. So I don't know. Whatever you guys think on that. Gary says, maybe they have online coupons. This is a coupon world again, like it was 40 years ago. And Gary says, that's interesting. Political soft science. That's a good one to read. Yeah, I mean, look at these sciences. Soft sciences. And it's just, they don't want anybody to have any, they don't want you to have any type of belief in God. They don't. They want it to be run by the scientists and the soft and the art and the humanities. It's all, but see, and then all these freedoms that they talk about. Why is it that every freedom, like they talk about abortion and all this stuff, why does every freedom or liberty cause somebody else to lose their life? Because a lot of them, they say, oh, my body, my choice. Well, okay, well, if that's true in the case with abortion, then how is it you have two bodies and one death? How does that work? Two bodies, one death. Is that liberty? Is that freedom? Is that reproductive freedom? Give me a break. Give me a break. It's not your body. It's somebody else's body. It's not. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to go in on all these issues this morning, but it is what it is, and it's not what it's not. Let's see. Anarchy comes in with and says some of the reasons we are where we are is because of 45 goals of the Communist Party that was read into the congressional record back in 1963. Oh yeah, it's very much communist, and I that's another thing. I think more black people than whether they know it or not, they're actually communist. and most of the quote black leaders from the civil rights were all surrounded by communists. What was it? Mr. Ellison, I think, did an interview about, I mean, I don't want to go into it right now because that's a whole nother show. But we got to realize that there's infiltration that's happened here. There's infiltration. So with that said, well, as I started out with the Baracks and he's dropping propaganda in and manipulating and twisting and basically demoralizing and devaluing black men. Oh, you better be glad Michelle is not here. I'm like, what is she going to do? Is that your mommy? I mean, there's a lot of questions around her. I mean, I'm just saying, like, see, that's the thing. It's like the emotional, the role reversals, the manipulation, the social engineering is absolutely staggering and disgusting. So I can't, it's hard to take it. All right, guys, with that said, I want to wish you a great, great, great hump. Get over the hump. Okay? Let's not have a bad day. Let's have a bad moment, a bad 30 seconds, a bad 5 minutes. But let's not let these people give us a bad day. Let's just keep trying, keep enduring, and keep going. All right, guys. I appreciate every one of you. Appreciate every one of you for coming in and for tuning in, and whether you're ghost watching the channel, it's been done before, but I appreciate you for considering coming in today. But yeah, I had no, I didn't have a whole lot of words. I'm gonna be honest, you know, I consider Obama to be a soft scientist. So if anything ever to go down, since he wants to talk about what the definition or the convolution of what a man is, I certainly wouldn't want him around in a sticky spot. So until then, guys, beware of the soft sciences and their scientists. All right, guys, I will talk to you later.